Thanks, Marbles. I guess it's an indication when you look around the room tonight that you look at the amount of people here, it probably tells a story, and I think that's one of the things that I'm not quite sure whether you as players at times realise the importance of the responsibilities that you have as far as your performances are concerned. And you know, when we rely very, very heavily on our members, obviously for their support in many, many ways, and in particular the benefits that we enjoy in particularly the facilities, and certainly during and at the end of the season when you put your hand out and get your wages and so on, is that we owe a great deal to you, and we're grateful for the few supporters that have stayed back tonight. Thanks very much for being here. I'm, without saying, very, very disappointed on what's going on in the footy club at the moment, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a greater issue than what we saw today. And the one thing that people can quite easily say in these situations is that don't panic, don't get ahead of yourself and all that bullshit. But I reckon we need to face some facts, and the facts are, and on the positive side, is that we look at our first 3 games of the year, we shouldn't have lost, and we wasted opportunities, and it certainly cost us. And again, I believe today, as poorly as we played, as far as our skill were concerned, I thought our skill in the first half of the game was extremely costly. Our discipline was extremely poor early in the game. That gave Subiaco an added advantage on them being on a high. Were very, very disappointing factors as far as our performance was concerned. But again, an opportunity where we kicked 8-13 in the last 3 quarters to 8-9, we still had an opportunity, despite all of those factors, of winning the game, and we didn't. The things that I'm more disappointed about is that I've mentioned to the senior play group after the game, and I stand by that, and I'm certainly not going to hang out any of our dirty washing here tonight, and that will remain within the player group. But it's high time that you don't have a God-given right, some of you guys, just to turn up week in, week out and think that you're going to get a game because you've been at this football club for a number of years. The challenges that I throw for the members that are here, that I've thrown at this player group, is that since 2002, there's been very little success in this footy club, and to the players that have been involved in this footy club for that period of time, I asked them to ask the questions why. I've certainly asked myself those questions, and I've discussed it very, very heavily with match committee, and we are taking steps, and we will take steps against those that aren't prepared to deliver what we expect of them, or aren't going to take us into the future. So there is and there will be a changing of the guard if you don't want to give us what we expect of you each week during games, and certainly during the week as far as training is concerned, and the disciplines that are required around this footy club. And quite frankly, some of them are waning or have waned, and there will be a general tightening right throughout the group. And again, as I mentioned to the players, I'm very, very disappointed that there's been quite a few players in recent weeks that haven't had the guts or the gumption to stick through this and have walked away and left the club. And to be quite honest with you, I'm pleased that they have, because they're not the type of characters that I want in this football club in the future. So we'll move forward from there. We go into a bye this week, and obviously we've got a couple of really tough games in front of us, and they'll probably be season-defining games as far as we're concerned, in playing Swans and Claremont in our next 2 games. So we need to be really on song, and we'll be well prepared over the next 2 weeks to confront those 2 teams. Getting on with the awards today, our 4th best player has gone to Aaron Sweet.
Yeah, obviously disappointing for the boys, so hopefully in the next 2 weeks we notch up a couple of wins, thanks.
Third best player today is certainly one guy that really does work extremely hard, has an enormous workload, and still gives his absolute utmost. And I say to all of you as a player group, it's time that you stood up and gave him some support as well, and stopped leaving it to him to instigate and initiate a number of the things that we implement both on and off the field. And he needs his support as well, but he's been very, very consistent for us. He's a wonderful leader, and that's Luke Webster.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. I think Bob said it all, but to the Reese's boys, I think you guys are on top now, so continue good form, and hopefully the league boys can follow in the next couple of weeks with a couple of wins.
Second best award today went to a guy who finished up getting a pretty good job. Cocky got away from us early in the game, and he's come in after being out for 3 or 4 weeks with a broken wrist, and again showed great character. To see him, one, accept the challenge, two, do well at it, and to come from where he's come from, the fact that he hadn't played for some time, to contribute the way he could is a credit to the way he prepared himself during that period when he was injured. That was Travers.
Yeah, boys, I think it's all been said. We've just got to get back on the winners list, because this place is obviously a lot better when we get the 4 points, and yeah, the atmosphere in the room is a lot better than it is now. So let's work hard over the bye and let's get back on the winners list.
Thanks, mate. And it's really pleasing to see that our award winners tonight not only perform well today, but guys that I would regard that have very, very good character, and that's what I'm talking about as far as our future's concerned. This guy's been in the gun virtually since he's been here, and was really under pressure to retain his position in the side this week, and has been put under pressure very, very severely over the last 2 weeks in particular, and responded extremely well today, and he really fulfilled the potential and the belief that we had in him as a player, and I've still got no doubt that he's even going to get better, and that was Adam Pryor.
Yeah, just first of all, congratulations to the reserves. To be on top of that, it's a good effort. Just us league blokes, just got to have a big week on the track and try and regroup and take the week off, and then get into it and get the season going for us. So, cheers.
All's not lost. We're still only 6 games into a season, and as I said, our next 2 games are very, very important. Both games are winnable games. We've got a fair amount of work to do between now and the next 2 weeks. We've got a bye next week, of course. We'll work very hard during that period, and work very hard in ensuring that we improve the areas that we need to work on, and get ourselves back in the ball game. I think the most important thing to think about is that we're 2 and 4, and we're not far off. We've got to really strive hard to be at 50% and continue to improve on that. We can do that. The good thing about the next 2 games that we play in are 8-point games, in my opinion. They're going to beat most sides in the competition. So as much as we've been disappointing, particularly in our losses, we've been very, very much in and around the place, and as I mentioned, we've lost all of the games that we've lost were winnable games, games that we could have won, and certainly a game today, I think we had the same amount of scoring shots as Subiaco. We had a number of opportunities, and as I said, we outscored them for 3 quarters. So we need to remain as positive as we can in leading up. As much as I'm disappointed in what's going on, I've pointed that out to the players. I'm putting the responsibility back on your shoulders, and I certainly hope that you're the ones that take hold of this situation, because at the end of the day, if we're not united as a group, we certainly won't have the success that we deserve for the rest of the year. So let's take it on from here, and let's start to move forward again from next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach, and that's it. Tony said it all. Next week's a bye, and then we've got Swan Districts and Clem on the way, so we'll keep you in touch with what's happening there. But thanks for your support tonight, and we'll see you the week after next. Good evening.